here on Icebox.
Yeah, let's get it started. V1 going to be on the defense, 100 Thieves on the assault. So let's see who comes out on top of that first very important round here. Some initial pressure going to be working its way in fairly quickly from V1 roster as they, from the 100 Thieves rosters. They try to push their way towards the A site. A pretty concerned push. We had Thief on that aggressive position up on top of the right box, but he is only going to be able to go 1-for-1 as we traded out almost instantly by the Omen coming in from the attack. Penny now sitting ready to move in himself here over the next few moments, but he's going to get ziplined in on, ready to defend against that though, and then quickly dashes back out behind the safety of the toxic screen so they can play for retake.
Well, they'll find the equalization here, making things a little easier for the retake as they get prepared. Smoke's still down, and obviously, we are still inside of that first round, so everyone very low on firearms here. It's all down to the pistols. Ethan obviously having that frenzy as well that could come in for the assist. Haven't been able to get the spike down yet, but actually 100 Thieves taking a little bit heavier blow than initially considered as they're actually down Asuna as well. So it's a 3v4 as they're trying to complete this take of the A site. Nitro luckily will get Penny as he stretches out a little bit too far to the far side of the site. V1 doing a very good job though of keeping 100 Thieves at the gates.
Big pick from Nitro there to even it back out. Unfortunately, no spike plant just as of yet here. So for the time being, V1 are holding strong, especially with how they've been able to re-aggress in ever since Penny dashed out a few moments ago. Two big picks coming in there from Whippy, and that might seal the deal. In fact, it does as Whippy comes in for a third as well. The cleanup from him pushes V1 forward and into a controlling stance after the pistol.
So 100 Thieves get the trade, but then they have to slow down because of that. Obviously, they lose Asuna as well, so you really can't try and force a situation like that when it's a 3v4, so just very difficult circumstances for 100 Thieves overall.
Was looking good for them, too, after they had forced Penny out. The problem was V1 playing that so smart. Penny specifically with the quick pick that he had against, I believe it was Steel that ziplined in against him inside of the site nest, and then he quickly dashed out. That was probably the moment where V1 really started to get control over it because they were still all there. They had a solid few players sitting on the outskirts of the site, ready to move in at a moment's notice. Just needed that reinitiation to get them back in, and they were finally able to solidify that for themselves. No spike plant going down here, unfortunately, for 100 Thieves either, so it's going to be a very conservative buy in round 2.
And that's also going to lead to a couple of conservative options as well for version 1 here as we end up seeing a Marshall for Penny. So he's saving some dollars in that regard as well as being able to reach out there and poke some heads if necessary, especially out on belt. Thief again and a leadoff kill here for version 1, and that's going to be Asuna who's been backed off yet again. Obviously 100 Thieves just trying to look for any frag they can around the map as well. Any harm to the version 1 economy is a good thing.
Penny, once again, out and about, trying to hit a shot off on the Marshall, but not going to be able to make as much of a connection as he would have liked. Steel is going to be pretty low here, but thankfully, we'll be able to correct upon that for the V1 side a bit later on in the round. 100 Thieves just slow walking their way up the pipe and into kitchen right now. No one going underneath from what I can tell. Immediate denial, though, so they are going to have to sound the alarm and give out a whole bunch of noise. Vanity with a nice double after denying the presence with the wall and losing it there. Hika will trade him out, but Whippy coming in for the shutdown yet again with a quick double. Solidifies round 2 for V1.
Well, fantastic stuff there from Vanity. I mean, the perfect timing for that ice wall inside of Tube, you know, and really just cutting off 100 Thieves. Really no other way for them to try and combat things. And that second round buy is always going to be difficult, especially for a map like this, longer distance gunfights and stuff like that, where version 1 are going to have options that you don't necessarily have. And, well, we all know the Sheriff doesn't one dink at any range. So it just kind of gets difficult when you have to try and contest at those ranges. So instead, they'll save up and get rifles now. And, well, this is where the rubber hits the road effectively, John.
I see some nice setups coming in here from Whippy, specifically. Smoke himself might be able to play out if we see any action working its way down B main, but haven't seen that just as of yet. 100 Thieves off to a hot start, though, being able to find that quick pick against Effie's. Now having the 5v4 to play off of for this next minute and a half.
100 Thieves going to take this just a little slower. Haven't dedicated all too much yet. See the obvious Viper usage here, and oh, here in comes 100 Thieves Viper wall as well as we'll be getting things set up for B. A cutoff for Snowman and utility out for Asuna, so we'll be throwing those Leers left and right, trying to work out towards box here. Still have Vanity as well, but he's actually not going to have his barrier orb, so they won't be able to wall. Instead, they're just going to have to try and contest as long as possible and attempt to get this plant down. But either way, 100 Thieves Oh, excuse me. Actually not having the Sage there. Apologies on my end. Just used to rereading the HUD again. But Asuna actually with a big triple kill here as he'll take down Vanity. Nitro with yet another one. And this is looking like the first 100 Thieves offense that's going to go their way. And it will in flawless fashion. Obviously, version 1, not buying too many rounds or too many guns on that round. Just more of a bonus for them than anything. But not able to get any frags onto 100 Thieves. That's going to be quite difficult for them going into the future.
We talk about there in the pregame, the ability for Nitro to step in comes forward, but it's even Asuna that's the highlight here, as he's able to move forward, pick up those excellent entries, and really open up the site completely for 100 Thieves to play out the rest of that round. So beautiful stuff coming in from him. That's certainly going to be a confident first round going up onto the board for 100 Thieves, especially considering that this is only going to be the first gun run they play into as well. So already going to start to destabilize the economy a little bit for V1. Unfortunately, wasn't making much impact in the first 2 rounds. So as you guys can see, there is going to be a very strong rebuy inside of this round for V1, but they should be getting very close to breaking that already based on what went down in the previous round here. 100 Thieves gonna get slowed down a little bit inside of mid once again here. Just some additional pressure from the V1 aggressors, but not gonna stick around for very long. 100 Thieves are playing it cautiously regardless though, just in case anyone else from this defending roster wants to try and get aggressive here.
So far, a creative opening inside of round 4 for version 1 as they'll use their barrier orb to create a nice little pop-up for Penny that we saw him use earlier on, although he'll just get tagged up for that, doesn't really get too much. But besides that point, Viper Pit down inside of A as well, which is going to make it very difficult for 100 Thieves to try and push through this, and it seems to be Asuna to try and get the job done in tow with an Owl drone from Hiko. He can't find the Viper inside of here though. Whippy on the far side, he'll turn around and he actually ends up getting one. He'll use the dismiss to get out as well. He starts to reclaim his health from that decay.
Ethan slowly creeping up. Is Penny gonna expect it on the inside? Maybe one, but wasn't expecting Steel to be with Ethan here as well, as the two of them make quick work of the elimination against Penny. That's gonna completely open up the floodgates for the rest of the team to work their way out onto this B side as well. Vanity is here. They might not know he's this close, and inside of the smoke, moves out, finds the first one. Will he catch the player over towards the big cubby though? Is Ethan not able to catch the trade, and he's not gonna look for it either. It's too chaotic. Vanity's been given too much time, so he escapes. We are gonna see the corresponding Viper's Pit come out from the attackers here now, but Vanity still close to the inside. He finds Ethan, takes him down, and we're in a 3-on-3.
Locked in now, and also Spike in the hands of V1, but it doesn't seem like Nitro. Oh, can he get it? Spraying back and forth. Will we eventually get Thief? Oh no, but now it's down to the 1v1. Vanity with literally a single HP, but starting to get his health back now. Asuna, ready for the fight at any moment. Holding things down on yellow, and he knows that all he has to do is play good defense here, and he'll get it done. It's another triple for him on the B bomb site inside of round 4 as V1's economy flies out the window.
Fortunate scenario there for Vanity as well. Even if he had won the 1v1, you guys will certainly know getting back up to that spike was going to be a tough task given the time he had left there. So very well played by 100. He's making the quick audible after some issues trying to get towards A there initially. Be able to take swift control of B after they push themselves up height. Penny going down there, unfortunately opening the floodgates and allowing the 100 Thieves roster in. Not much you can do about it though when you've got that massive spike of players working their way forward. So it is going to put us on a pretty light buy here. Even a buy much at all here from the V1 camp. Mainly just that Marshall on Penny. Other than that, it's going to be upgraded pistols, and already the frags are rolling in for 100 Thieves. Steel with a very nice pick in the early round against Thief.
He might as well go back to using the Guardian at that point. He just needed the one bullet. I mean, come on. 100 Thieves looking a lot more dominant on this icebox. Maybe just a cruel ploy to game version 1's confidence across the last couple of days, but probably not. More than likely just 100 Thieves doing their thing now, and it's working out extremely well for them. Asuna just gets the wall bang from downrange. Penny has no chance at all, and neither does version 1. It's down to Effie's and Vanity just trying to pick up the pieces here. Effie's will at least get a frag. More than likely won't be able to get the Vandal though. Trying to get some sort of information. Knows that Nitro is around the area as Nitro will now get read out. Simply trying to look for the frag, but he cannot procure it. It's just down to Vanity now in the 1v4.
Great control coming out from 100 Thieves here, as we're not going to see much of a fight put up by V1 inside of their eco, even for the players that did go for an investment, most notably Penny. Not able to make much happen with it, as we saw Steel getting treated out there. A little bit of chip damage going on in Nitro and Ethan, but other than that, not much to show for that round. Not that we would expect it anyway. Vanity here trying to see if he can maybe follow a player or two outside of the site, but is not going to be successful in that. I think it's eaten up by the spike at the last second. 100 Thieves will get a clear board here as they work their way into their next round. Finally taking control of the lead at 3-2. We'll see if they can make it 4-2, as we're more likely going to have more aggressive investment coming in this time for the defenders.
Very well done from 100 Thieves across these last handful of rounds, especially inside of that, respecting what version 1 we're going to be trying to do inside of that eco, mostly sheriffs as well as that marshal like you were talking about on Penny. And they were just trying to find any of the frags that they possibly could. 100 Thieves play it close to the chest, and they don't lose a single person all except for one. So pretty good at the end of the day, staying on top of their economy and making sure to build up as much money as possible. But now for version 1, finally, it's back to the good guns as Penny will be back to his operator. Everyone else is on rifles.
100 Thieves going to take things nice and slow again here. You have some counter smokes working against them. It's going to go away pretty soon. Penny be in position to try and stop this with the operator in hand, so a little bit more resistance coming out. Immediately, it's going to strike true as well. Asuna tries to push forward and is finally punished out. A rare chain of events for what's been transpiring more recently. 100 Thieves losing one of the most impactful players. But again, it's all slight bait as they're trying to shift very quickly through mid, under the tunnel, and into B. But Whippy's caught it and taken 2 players with him. Hasn't stopped the spike, and Steele's on the way to put that down now. Might very well get it here also, but he has had to interrupt it. Hiko has been lost. It's not going to be too much longer before Steele is also caught out. Good intel there from V1, and a good catch on the rotate as they're able to shut that one down and quickly tie things back up.
Very rough round there for 100 Thieves. They try for an A fake. They use Asuna. It's kind of a forward pawn piece here to try and push things, try and find those initial frags. But with that owl drone as well as Penny with the overwatch with the op there, just too difficult for them. As well as with version 1 maintaining control of kitchen. That's a big part to that B site when they go for those rotations, especially under tube. Seriously good cutoff angle there, and well, we saw what Whippy was able to do.
See if 100 Thieves can re-equalize the situation now. And they're immediately going to try to stop any of the initial pressure, but it won't work. Penny, though, doesn't expect the pressure from Ethan to be so far forward that early in the round. Might have missed the initial cross from him, but either way, Penny will only be able to go 1 for 1 as a result of that. 100 Thieves get the control of B main as well. As soon as this first poison cloud goes away, they'll be clear to start swinging around and clearing out yellow box, and then, obviously, through that, they'll be able to focus on the site.
Still a lot of different plays 100 Thieves can make here, though. Or simply inside of B main. To be a Killjoy ult down, and oh, is it going to be the slide? It is indeed. Omen will stick around, and Ethan's just going to ult away towards A. Oh, actually, no. He goes towards the back of B instead, gets the cancel, simply using that for intel as to what's currently happening on B. And it's going to be yet another shift. 100 Thieves keep the ball moving, keep these goalposts shifting away from version 1. Where are we going? What are we doing? You don't necessarily know. You'll have to start dedicating utility places and try and figure it out. Vanity will have the first read on Kitchen as he gets taken down. 100 Thieves flood in. Whippy with a possible play here. He'll be able to get one. Can he get the second and the third? Whippy shuts him down inside of Kitchen. It's all down to Ethan. Might have been able to use the ult for some intel, but you're going to need a lot more than intel to win this one, my friend. It's Whippy with a 4K as they'll put 100 Thieves back down below version 1.
Quad from Whippy, an impressive one at that. He was the player that stayed behind after that move was called for 100 Thieves to back outside of B main once they put the lockdown onto the floor, and he was the only player to actually get affected by that lockdown. He was meant to stay behind and act as simply just an early warning for them coming back to B. But not only is he a warning, he's the shutdown in and of itself as he picks up a quad kill, fending off all that pressure inside of Kitchen. Beautifully done. V1 now back in control here on the defensive side.
And this is what you were talking about with version 1 up against LG. Whippy just seemingly does this in certain rounds where he's just able to pop off, whether it be spraying people down through smoke or just taking outright gunfights and winning them all. It just seems like this guy can't not do anything. It's amazing what he's been able to do so far throughout this stage. We'll see if he's able to continue doing so. We're only through 7 rounds right now. We still have a lot of game left for both of these squads. And, well, now down into round 8. 100 Thieves slowing things up just a touch. They are going to use their Viper wall on A here to split things for screens, so make things just a touch easier if they're actually able to get onto site, but that's not the play as of right now. Instead, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing this entire time, try and find a soft spot to push through this version 1 defense, but that's the issue for them as of late. There does not seem to be a soft spot.
Mid has always been the go-to here, and while initially it looked a bit weaker, V1 has seemed to have caught on to it. You can see that with Vanity peeking out there now. There's about the same point in the round where 100 Thieves has usually been pushing up pipes, so he's just checking it. to see if they were doing that. In fact, they were. So once again, the strategy's been revealed. They're still going to commit to it more than likely, probably just not through pipe. It looks like they're going underneath of it instead and trying to get control there. You can see Whippy taking these little bits and chunks of damage. Eventually, Steel's going to be able to knock him out, but two other players assist on that. A trade does come in from Vanity as he's still alive, deeper on the inside of the kitchen, but once again, exchanged almost immediately. Asuna coming out from 100 Thieves. Try to look for another one here to the back of Snowman. Can't control that one, though, as the shock dart sends him a little bit further back.
Oh.
In come the knives from Penny, seemingly out of nowhere as well. And we're evened up again, but a big play could still come out from Steel. He's on a massive flank right now, and they're not going to expect it. The res goes out against Whippy. Where is Steel at? He needs to find the impact now as he's losing teammates quickly. There's the first pick from him. Hiko holding on his own as well, and just like that, it's all on Whippy. Hiko fends them all off with a triple as 100 Thieves pick up another round.
100 Thieves keeping it locked down for Steel on the rotate, and they didn't even need it at the end of the day. All you need is a Hiko playing yellow, and you can probably lock things out on B. They'll tie things up once again here, and I'll be honest, their icebox is looking a heck of a lot better. Excited to see how this one's going to end as, well, we're still going to have money across the board, all except for a couple of people. Looking to see what Vanity can possibly get done here. Penny can indeed buy him a rifle, but it looks like he wants to go for the Spectre instead.
100 Thieves definitely looking a lot better today with their performance on Icebox, but it's important to keep in mind a lot of the issues we saw from them were generally occurring on the defensive side, a side we've yet to test for them as of yet. So them picking up still an even scoreboard here could be a good sign, but it could also be a bad sign ultimately if that defensive half is not going to be up to snuff compared to what we're seeing right now on the attack. Either way, though, still a few rounds to go in this side, and a few rounds where 100 Thieves could really try to take control of the scoreboard before we even hit that switch. Sphere going to come out from Hiko. Is able to tag at least one player here, but can't hunt them down that well, as damage actually upon second check does not connect. Nothing being done over there towards the roster of the defenders. They still get control of the site, though. V1 play almost entirely for the retake here. Upon trying to push past some of the first bits of utility as well, Hiko going to immediately shut down the first of those players. That's Vanity going out. The other's now trying to split. Two from screens, two going up to Raptors. And we'll have to see if this works. A good start, though, as Thief takes out Hiko.
100 Thieves with a great setup here to try and fend off version 1, but they're fighting back so well. Thief hops into the mix, so immediately get taken down. Whippy trying to find some of his own as the trades go back and forth. It's down to Whippy up against Asuna, but Asuna quickly dispatches him. It's 100 Thieves with their take onto A, and a pretty early use of the Hunter's Fury there. That was something I was going to notate as well, is that they had that for the post plant, but instead using that for sort of an early pick and or just some info as to where those version 1 members are. Either way, though, 100 Thieves get away with the bag.
Asuna continuing to dominate in this game as well with that very important closing on the double kill that he got for himself. You just saw that there on the scoreboard. He is absolutely killing it right now, nearly double the next highest teammate in terms of kill impressions overall. So really showing up in a big way for 100 Thieves inside of this first map of the day versus V1. They'll probably have to do it once again here. It's looking like they're heading right back towards the A site. Will be a little bit easier this time, considering we've got a mixed buy coming out from V1, but Steel in fact is going to take the entry again, and the second one too, as he destroys both Thief and Penny with some very nice headshots.
Just very rough for version 1 right now. They're doing everything in their power to try and find these early frags, catch 100 Thieves off guard, and just harm this economy with these weapons that they've been able to procure, but it's just not happening right now. It's going to be another frag for 100 Thieves as Whippy goes down. It's up to Effie's and Vanity to try and figure this one out. Luckily enough, though, they have some pretty good firearms, especially in the like of Effie's. He'll actually end up having a Phantom here, so could possibly get some frags for himself, but again, long road ahead of them. He'll lose his head, as well as Vanity as Nitro steps around the corner, and 100 Thieves with their second flawless of the game.
Asuna gonna assist with that one as well, but regardless, a clean round being picked up there by the 100 Thieves camp. V1 struggling here to try to make those last bits of impact on their defensive side. We'll have to see how much they're going to be reliant on their own attacking side to try and make their own impact, as obviously this map does tend to drift a little bit more towards the attacker's side from my own personal experiences on it and watching the pro play, so we'll have to see if that will once again be true for this matchup. Definitely seems to be the case so far, by the way 100 Thieves are playing it. We got 2 more rounds left to really certify that. The save, though, from V1 is enough to get them back up to a full buy, so we are going to have a nice, healthy investment from them coming into the second to last round. Once again, they'll try to see if they can equalize things at what, in best case now, would be a 6-6. If they win this round, at least get 1 6-5 somewhere left.
Yeah, desperately needed right now for V1 as well. They just have not been able to get back-to-back rounds, really, on their defensive half, and it's been pretty harmful to their economy, whereas 100 Thieves have been able to stack up things, and when things do go awry, they're still able to buy into the next round, make an investment somewhere, and try and get something to happen up against V1, but definitely has not been the same way. 100 Thieves and Asuna very forward here as V1 will go for the full retake. They back off even on rafters as they're not worried about all too much just yet. In comes the retake now, though, as 100 Thieves well back into the site. Asuna going to get read out from the Owl drone. Vanity now moving out onto rafters. Has an opportunity here, but no, Asuna will take one. He'll at least trade himself out, but not before Ethan also gets some damage dealt as well.
You should run.
Gonna bring us down into a 10 situation here for V1 once again. Outnumbered, trying to work their way back in. We've got a lockdown on the floor as well, coming out from 100 Thieves. So there's a strict time limit on this. So close to the defuse, and in fact, it does look like they get it for themselves. There's V1 sneaking in, although 100 Thieves are able to clean things out. V1 actually are able to take that one and bring us up to 6-5.
You know, Effie's, it might not be the greatest game for you right now, man. You might be 2-7-4, but at least you got the spike stick. Pros don't fake.
Yeah.
Pros do not fake.
Didn't even see that one coming.
No, and 100 Thieves invested so much there as well. I mean, this is still the last round. They could have used KJ ult. There's a lot of things still there to use for them going into this, and they thought that they had it inside of that round. They wanted to extend, try and get up onto 7, and make sure that V1 cannot tie things up, but now they have an opportunity. The only bad thing is, obviously, they don't really have the funds in order to do this, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. It's just kind of bad for 100 Thieves when it comes down to it. Obviously, getting a very nice execution, getting that spike down, and losing it in such fashion.
Yeah, I mean, the rounds seem to be theirs for the taking there, so it's unfortunate they lose it. As you were saying, it could have been a nice setup for a 7-4, potentially leading up to an 8-4 if they close things out, but now no longer the case. And we have to remember what I mentioned a few rounds ago, too. The issues that we generally were seeing in the previous matchups, 400 Thieves were showing up on the defensive side, not this attacking side. So having a 6-6 even scoreline going into that second half could be a bit dangerous, depending on how that performance goes. But still one more round away from that. Let's see what they have to offer us for this one final, at least what appears to be an A attack off the opening. We've already seen at least once them switching that up, so this could very easily be changed at a moment's notice.
Yeah, it seems that 100 Thieves have been back and forth on this map because mostly their win rates per side are actually tied at 56%. So it's kind of back and forth as to if they're successful on offense or defense, but definitely being successful on offense inside of this round. They'll take down 2. It's Whippy and Vanity off the board as Asuna is doing what he does best. Entry frag, taking out as many people as he possibly can and getting that spike down yet again for 100 Thieves. It's back to the retake on A for the umpteenth time here for V1, but this time they get the leadoff pick instead as Asuna goes down.
Good pick from Effie's there. 100 Thieves maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew with as soon as aggression. Nitro's going to fall next here, and the numbers have been evened out. 100 Thieves, though, bouncing right back, brings them just down to Penny, and he's not going to be too long for this world either. Hiko gets the finalizing kill and sets up a 7-5 half.
Honestly, a very solid offensive half there from 100 Thieves. You know, a lot of things going on there that were very good. I think the biggest thing, obviously, was moving the goalposts. They're constantly shifting back and forth between sites, keeping version 1 guessing, and, you know, a lot of plays being able to be made because of that. But version 1 also with their playmaking ability and a lot of these opportunities to identify that, also getting some solid blows in there as well. Just simply did not have the economy built up to try and take it to 100 Thieves like 100 Thieves did that.
Steal with some nice shots here too. We were catching on the replay, but enough about that. It's time to go back into the match as we're getting started immediately with the second half here. Time to see if 100 Thieves can indeed close this out on the more problematic side historically over the past few matchups for them, or if V1 as well going to bring some renewed vigor to the table now that they have the attacking edge. Immediately upon going in, we are going to see at least one charge from the info dart work its way out there, so you should have something to play off of, but you'll note there isn't a full commitment inside of the A building just as of yet here from V1. They do have 2 players vying out for mid control and could go for a bit of a crunch, possibly an alternate play as well here as they're going up pipe right now to get kitchen control. Turret is going to spot them out, but they're going to be able to get the contest before that turret even fires a shot. Thief quickly makes work of Steel. That opens up the B site, but more than likely they're not. We've got to see here because they are backing up now. They just got another pick into the A site, so the smart thing to do here would be to crunch on A, and it looks like they finally decided to do that.
And difficult times right now for 100 Thieves, and what an amazing play here for version 1. Continue to poke and prod around the map, and finally finding some soft and safe space inside of kitchen, work their way in, get the KJ kill, and now snowball it into a plant on A and frag out everyone while you're doing it. It's looking like a flawless right now for version 1 as it's all down to Nitro and Thief with a quad in the pistol round to put 100 Thieves back down. Version 1 coming for the lead.
Smooth stuff from Thief there, getting the quick 2-tap on the final player, double linking him right down into the grave and right into a lost round, unfortunately, for the 100 Thieves camp as well. Not a situation they're completely unfamiliar with, so they certainly are going to have a plan for dealing with this. But once again, going to have to start out not necessarily on the right foot after round one here, with probably a pretty light buy going into it as they look to build up that economy a bit more before buying in for their first gun round coming up after this.
Yeah, you know, and that's been the kind of a strange thing, a strange conversation point, honestly, over like the last year with Valorant. What really happens inside of this second round? We've seen a bunch of different things happen with different metas, with Spectres coming in, now the Marshall, obviously a lower cost coming in, and Penny been using that a lot more, and some people just full on buying into rifles like we have with Whippy and Effie's, so a lot of different ideas floating around when it comes to this second round, but for version 1, this one's looking like it's going to work until Asuna gets a big frag onto Whippy, and that's also going to be a Phantom that he can use to eliminate version 1 from behind.
Asuna with a nice catch here. V1 are going to be able to get their plant down onto the table, though. Penny making quick work of Hiko here as well. V1 slowly starts to renegotiate their own position. Asuna with some very nice finds. Like we said, getting that gun for himself. So far, a big boost to the arsenal of what they were bringing to the table on the attack here. But now, seeing them clean up, actually, nearly going to win this round with basically zero investment coming in for it. But no, unfortunately not meant to be. Effie has the shock dart. He's got the aim for it. And he's got the capability to shut out 100 Thieves inside of this round and set up V1 for a tie yet again at 7-7.
Well, if you're 100 Thieves, you have got to be happy about that round. You took out so many version 1 members. You know, although the plant did end up happening, I mean, you still were able to get all of those frags. It's a lot of solid economy coming into their pocket, and they're going to be well within their right to full buy here. That's going to be all those rifles as well as utility across the board for 100 Thieves. But looking over to the version 1 camp, we're going to be able to get rifles all except for Vanity. He's going to have to focus more on that utility as we'd expect, so it's going to be a Spectre for him.
And he immediately counters out the information darts, but is not going to be able to counter out the push from Ethan, who's able to get himself up to the top there. Oh, nearly losing himself on the transition back to the site, though. Jumps just a little bit too aggressively out into the open, but thankfully he's able to curve that very quickly before he takes too much from Whippy and the other player from V1 that took up that position. Vanity is going to be joining the team over here towards A as well, and more than likely we'll probably expect Whippy to fall back and regroup with them at some point soon as well here. As V1 definitely seeming be leaning towards that A aggression, but almost certainly need another entry before they can really jump onto this. And unfortunately, Asuna sneaking off another kill there, not going to be the best way to go about trying to get in.
That's what makes Reyna such a difficult character, having those souls just lay on the ground, waiting for her to dismiss or heal herself or anything of the sort. Always a difficult thing, able to get intel and then immediately dip out, and there's not too much you can necessarily do about it. So 100 Thieves continuing to hold things up as version 1 trying to find a hole. They're going to shift towards B now, but 100 Thieves will do the same, at least for 2 people here. It's going to be the KJ as well as the Viper for 100 Thieves to step up to the plate and try and prevent this plant. 25 seconds left on the clock and need 4 in order to get the spike put down, but it's becoming increasingly difficult as Steel has been able to get one. Whippy, though, with the refrag now, but he's been spotted out. Steel gets aggressive with the Owl drone. They're getting all the intel in the world. Effie's with an initial trade. He'll get another all the way down at Snowman. He's now in a 1v2. A 1v1. He swings wide for Asuna. Asuna at full HP. Effie's at 23. Can't get the spike down, and he'll have to save, but oh my. It looked like he was going to get by there just by the skin of his teeth.
Probably a good reason as to why Asuna chooses not to go for that final fight, too. Obviously, he could just win it on the time, so that's the most pressing reason as to why he chooses not to do that. But Effie's really seeming to lock on quite a few of these players here. Maybe not the best idea to challenge that when the aim is looking that good. So, smart choice coming in from Asuna, and once more, secures an additional round win for the 100 Thieves camp as they take the lead, only slightly, of course, here at 8-7. And once again, force V1 onto an uneven bye going into this next round here. Some are going to have upgraded pistols, some are going to have rifles, and I believe Penny's going to be working with a Marshall again, but it's absolutely not going to be the full breadth of what we normally see out of this team.
No, absolutely not. And speaking of full breadths of rosters, I mean, we got to talk about Asuna. This guy is on an absolute warpath right now to take out version 1 almost single-handedly. Yes, 100 Thieves is here every step of the way. We're seeing some other frags from some folks, but it really is Asuna that's been able to open up a lot of these rounds for them. But oh no, they don't check the far side of yellow. Nitro with 2, almost gets another with the pistol, but it's a frenzy for Vanity to take him down. Version 1 will at least be able to get the spike, but this is looking more like a participation trophy. Still going to have some opportunity here as it is a 3v3. Remember, Penny is locked into that Marshall, so doesn't necessarily have the firearms to try and take this. 100 Thieves, most notably Hiko, trying to stick the defuse. He's almost through, but he'll immediately get off. Whippy's been taken out as well, and 100 Thieves looking to lock up this round as well, as Vanity is simply going to leave. He wants to stick with that Phantom, and you cannot necessarily blame him.
No pressure to get out on the site this time for V1, but once more, not nearly enough to hold in the post plant there. One player holding out for them in the previous one, but once more, 100 Thieves able to run that down. And with the strong retake, getting back their control. This was the big unfortunate play inside of the round, though. He failing to check this one little corner just past yellow allows Nitro to sneak off a double kill. Could have seen the round go very, very differently had that play not transpired, but that slight mistake costing V1 in a very big way inside of that last round there on round 16. Now 2 rounds away from tying it up versus 100 Thieves here. They're looking to try and run the gauntlet straight up to 13 with that lead now in check, but see if they can maintain it. V1, once again, looking to put some aggression towards A, but going to be quite slow about it. Still keeping Whippy on the flank watch over towards B main also. In the event that they could find a free pick there, might be better suited to try and go in that direction. There's going to be a tad of pressure from the Viper on 100 Thieves over on that side of the map, but not going to see any contest in there for quite a while, as the focus still on this A push here. Asuna, once again, the point player to try and stop this push when it moves forward, and he's in a great spot to do it. Steals a kill away from Penny off the zip line. Unfortunately, can't get to a good position on the follow-up there, so Thief is going to be able to trade him, and the unfortunate part for 100 Thieves here is Thief also gets another pickup. We're going to see V1 go for a res as well, but Ethan's ready to stop that. He takes out both Penny and Effie's back-to-back before Vanity trades him out. It's a 3v2 in the post plan here. Nitro and Steel looking to retake for 100 Thieves.
Well, this is going to be very difficult for 100 Thieves, especially given Whippy. You can see him all the way at the back of A, all the way by the belt ramp because, well, he's got snake bites, and he can just play post plant this entire time. They're going to have to try and find an answer to this if they want to try and defuse this spike. Vanity now playing inside of 410. Still has an opportunity in tow with Thief, who's holding the cross. He's able to get one, but he can't get Steel up top in Nest. Whippy will be the one to handle that from Belt. And, well, it's all smiles now for V1 as they'll finally get around up against 100 Thieves on those rifles.
It's a good response from V1 there to be able to take control. Quick look at the scoreboard there. We can see this is very much a game of frontrunners in the fragging department. Quite a few of the members of 100 Thieves starting to catch up to Asuna, but he's still leading the charge quite a bit. Meanwhile, on the V1 side, you've got those two very clear leaders in Penny and Whippy right now, who are kicking butt up at the high 10s on their kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Both having 16 frags right now. Pretty impressive for V1, but a more impressive previous round there. I think the biggest thing is V1 getting by with that on the Bulldog buy for 2 people. That's a pretty big thing as well. The Bulldog actually recently being buffed, so pretty big ordeal. They actually ended up upping the rate of fire, John, so it makes it to where those closer gunfights are just a little bit easier, and you don't have to lean into that triple burst when you're aiming as much. So definitely look to see that a little bit more in the future. But as for this round now for V1, it's going to be a touch strange here. We should have some firearms across the board here. I'm assuming people just more than likely have their secondaries out. We'll have to see, but we have a lot of ults across the board on both sides, and that's the biggest thing to talk about, especially when it comes to 100 Thieves. These are some game-changing, round-changing, actually, ults that we have coming out of Steel and Nitro.
Yeah, we only have the one Killjoy in play, so that lockdown is going to be incredibly powerful due to that fact, and we can't see an immediate counter-response of the same ultimate come in from someone on V1, so they get a lot of control due to that. The problem now with them being on the defense, though, is that Steel obviously needs to be in the correct position to be able to utilize that, and on a round like this, where they're not going to be too heavily invested, that's going to be a little bit difficult, possibly for him to do that, seeing if he gets caught on the mid-rotation or something like that. So we'll see what he's able to work towards. As you mentioned, it's not the only one, though. Nitro in position, for instance, there with the Viper's Pit to be able to deploy at any point. Also, we've already seen that used once by V1 in the last half to completely block access to A, so a lot of play out potential to come in from those abilities. Things start strong for V1 as Whippy, again, he's going to continue to be the front runner here. Picks up that opening kill versus Steel and removes that ultimate possibility that we were talking about before. Also, now I'm going to probably make V1 consider a B push pretty heavily. They're going to run right into Nitro. He can't land the shot this time, though. Penny's ready for it. He's got the knives out. He's going to take down Nitro, and up on top of Snowpile, he follows it up with another one against Asuna.
And he's looking for his third right now, continuing to hold the snow pile door. Oh, can he get it done? He can. He'll take down Ethan, flips around. Can he get Hiko as well? No, it'll be Effie from behind instead. And what a round specifically for Penny there. He's going to get so much economy for that. Only buying his Sheriff, had those knives, and able to get 3 kills because of it. V1, a very good spot right now.
Mind, of course, you guys probably noticed it. A bit of an eco from 100 Thieves, not the most impressive round win at the end of the day. Somewhat expected to come out from the V1 camp, but now we're getting to that dangerous point in the round, or in the map at least. Once again, the teams are tied up at 9-9. V1 looking to have the control right now as of the past few rounds, but you can see there on the round share at the bottom of the screen, 100 Thieves has still shown up quite a bit inside of this half. It's looking like we're going to see an immediate pop. Nitro's ultimate here to bring the Viper's Pit out and block the access to B main. Is looking like V1 are kind of keeping the options open right now, but not paying attention to the push from Ethan yet again, apparently, as he's able to go for 2 quickly. Just pops from the shadows to get himself back towards the site as well to make sure no one can trade him out.
There you go. Just simply reset yourself. That's all you need. Walk away with 2 big frags, and loving this play from 100 Thieves. They lock the B site with the Viper ult. They know that there's more than likely going to be people probing out A, just trying to see if there's anyone there. So what do? They get very aggressive with the shrouded step of Ethan, get him up onto Beld, and he's able to find frag after frag. So now version 1 down to a 3v5 and Asuna in a pivotal position right now. 1, 2, can he get the third? He can't. Penny not able to see him on pipes either, not looking to his left, but he's definitely got one below him. He can't even win the fight inside of 410. Hiko will take him down for 100 Thieves after a, dramatic round there with the early aggression.
Starting to see a trend line up here once more for V1 that I noticed in their last matchup too, where generally when they do go for that combined push, things tend to work out better. But every time they try to play it slow and split things up, there's always something that gets missed. It really varies on what that thing is from time to time as well. It could be a flank watch, could be a situation like that where someone sneaks right in front of them, they just don't check the right angle. But something always seems to go wrong of that nature when V1 tries to play it slow. When they go for a very straightforward, decisive, all-in push, things have been working out much better for them, and that goes all the way back to the open qualifiers last week as well. Something interesting I've noticed from their play here, and it's starting to become an issue yet again. Could be the deciding factor here. It allows 100 Thieves to take the map also if they don't get control of it soon.
Yeah, we could say a lot about 100 Thieves for the same thing on their offense as well. And speaking of offense, it's V1 with a no-holds-barred rush onto A. It's Lear's out for the team and trying to find these frags. They'll be able to at least get one, but they're taking more than they're giving. It's only Ethan down for 100 Thieves as Effie's and Vanity are missing from the field for V1. 100 Thieves now pushing the envelope. They'll take down Thief as well. It's up to Whippy and Penny as well. This is not going too hot for them. Whippy's been able to keep things locked up inside of his ult, but finally the refrags coming through. They'll find 2 big ones, and now it's down into the 2 versus 2. No spike down just yet, as that will be in the back pocket of Penny.
Still trying to watch out for a flank here, I believe, and they're good to do so. Nitro about to encroach upon Whippy's territory. Will Whippy catch it, though? This is going to be so close, and he does. Just in the nick of time, too. They were both right next to each other. Had to go for a wide swing, though, in order to see the other person, and they do catch it. Hiko, now left alone, still has to play against the Viper's Pit, too. That'll be a factor throughout the rest of this round. He'll creep around the outskirts of it, looking for an insertion point. Not gonna be able to find it so easily. He can spam, however, if he wants to here, because he's got himself the correct rifle, but still can't find the correct positioning. Penny spots him out upon trying to go up towards the top of Nest. V1 retie us yet again.
What a round there for version 1, and you said it yourself, John. Version 1 just not doing very good when it comes to those slow offenses, trying to shift things places. 100 Thieves are having a very good read on it, but if they're able to simply overwhelm one of the sites, that is their bread and butter as of right now. This is a very simple play. Just stack things right in the lower pipes area, toss out a Lear, and start looking for those frags, and they were able to do so. Although it didn't work out initially, as we were talking about, but eventually able to find those frags that they had very forward positions inside of the actual bomb site.
So, tactical timeout going to be called by 100 Thieves. Probably couldn't have been a better time for it, considering the point we're at now in the match. A very delicate situation going to be put before the 100 Thieves camp. Can't really go necessarily for an outright buy here. They could attempt a force, that's to be certain. And it looks like they might be going for it too, by the way, that Asuna just bought. But we'll get more info on that in a second. Considering how close this is, they may not want to take the risk on letting V1 take this just on an anti-eco for themselves, considering the issues that could pop up from that. So it looks like they may decide to challenge this one outright based on that buy there from Asuna.
Yeah, lots of questions still to be had. Is the rest of this money going to be saved? Want to see. Still have 16 seconds here. to buy for the rest of them.
Go
Nitro
for
get a
it.
buy. Ethan will also get a buy. Hiko also hopping in the mix. And Steel, what are you going to end up with, my friend? He's going to go with the down home Ares. And honestly, very excited about this pick.
Love the way you described it.
Hey, man, you got to have an Ares pick every once in a while, let me tell you. Especially since the recent price change, it's a little bit cheaper. It's actually cheaper than the Spectre now. So you're more than likely going to be seeing that a lot more often, especially with people like Sova. Been seeing a lot of people favor those high impact rounds recently.
Humble Ares. So that is going to present issues for 100 Thieves, though. You can probably see that in the utility department already. But you've got 3 of their players also working with light shield as a result of that also. So we'll obviously have to be a little bit careful with their fight selection here to make sure that they are on the winning side of any of the early engagements. Nitro, a bit aggressive, though, in order to try and make up the difference here. Pushes himself forward, and so far, things working out great for Ethan back out spawn as he's caught 2 aggressive rotates coming in from V1 there. He's going to try to go for even more now. 100 Thieves Asuna has picked up another frag against Thief. What a win this is going to end up being from the 100 Thieves camp. Ethan, like I said, inside of the attacker spawn, making quick work of any of these rotates for V1. Penny able to get 1 more up on the charts for V1, but it's not really going to matter much here. Whippy's still stuck under the control of Ethan. We'll be able to, well, somehow that second headshot doesn't take him out. Must have been through the paneling. But either way, Ethan will be able to re-peek at 1 HP, finish off Whippy, and secure an 11th for 100 Thieves.
How does Ethan even get there? I'm assuming he pushes out A and probably just shrouded stepped up onto the actual, attacker side spawn area. But either way, I mean, huge rotation from him that catches him off guard. Fantastic stuff there from Ethan.
All right, so 100 Thieves with an unorthodox win there, specifically regards to Ethan. But hey, it works out. The straight-up pinch doesn't give V1 anywhere to go. They're literally trapped in a tunnel over towards B main, and unfortunately for them, are not able to punch their way out of it. So they'll be stuck down around once again, although this is a situation they are very, very familiar with. Immediate pop of the Hunter's Fury right at the start of this round. 1 connection is made against Hiko, but that's it. No full kill or anything else to write home about. Soon as pushed forward. Again, though, he's done this plenty of times. You can see some pre-fire coming in from 100 Thieves almost, or excuse me, coming in from V1 immediately. Try and counter that out, but no, they don't seem to think he's up here. A little too messy on the spray, though, and Penny gets the kill instead. First entry goes to V1. Now can they get the site? This is where the struggle has been. Once again, they'll lose a player here. Penny's still making the impact where it counts, though, on those knives. 3 kills from him with them so far inside of this round. They might as well just go for the ace. Never mind. It's going to get stolen by Effie's Nitro. Now the last player standing from the 100 Thieves camp, and he's locked in a 1v4. Trying to see if he can beta any extra aggression, but there's not going to be much that he can play for, unfortunately, in this situation.
100 Thieves trying to play a touch more controlled inside of that round, whereas version 1 go for all-out aggression, simply pushing from pipes in the mid area there, top of 410, and end up taking down Asuna, just steamrolling their way through A. Not really an opportunity for 100 Thieves to try and fight back, mostly because of the amount of aggression from Penny, simply tagging up every single 100 Thieves member he possibly can with those knives and all of those frags. So Nitro is going to have to be forced into a save here as he wants to keep a hold of that Phantom. We're down now to 11-11 here on Icebox, and to be honest with you, I did not think we were going to be reaching this point, at least here on this map.
100 Thieves with a great improvement in their play based on what we saw in the open qualifiers a week ago. Definitely putting up a much more of a fight that we would expect from 100 Thieves on this map specifically compared to what we were seeing last week. V1, now the team that's struggling here, but to be clear, still holding on here, still keeping it very, very close. Just need to try and push themselves over the edge, get that 1 extra round that they haven't been able to grasp past 100 Thieves here ever since the halftime switched. Big buys coming out here. Looks like we're going to get an Odin purchase from Steel also. So some fun might be had, especially if we're going to end up going for the all-in push down B long again for V1. But based on the current spawn positions, I would say that's unlikely. Possibility of a shakeup always still to come, though, considering what 100 Thieves have normally been able to do with their utility in the early round and force that change up quite often.
Yeah, some change-ups across the board actually here is, well, Steel is going for the Odin and Hiko's also going for the Guardian. So this is just telling me this looks like they're going for something with the Recon Bolt or something like that. Try and get some info and hit some wall bangs. We'll have to see what happens. But either way, both of them with those high impact rounds like we were talking about earlier, that could be something to look forward to in this next round. But as we've seen so far from version 1, these offenses have been high octane fuel. They have not been letting off the gas at all. So for them, I really feel like in order to get this done, 100 Thieves are going to just have to have a solid response to one of these sites. It's just been difficult for them to try and crack it back open and get an opportunity.
They've definitely been doing a good job of trying to fight it out. The issue is the kind of mixed results when it comes down to that initial contact, which in a lot of cases seems to be deciding the winner of the round, or at least the winner of that kind of early to mid-round portion there until we get at least towards a post-plant. So 100 Thieves definitely taking a lot of risks in that department with the way that they've been playing. However, a lot of them have been panning out, so you can't really blame them, especially with the way that Ethan was able to play from inside of spawn a couple rounds back there. See if they can line up anything like that. Penny will get spotted here as he pushes forward, but he doesn't care. Drops right down into Ethan's face, still takes him out. The turret, if he didn't kill it there, may have very well taken him down. It's looking like the here for 100 Thieves is going to continue as they're able to trade out onto both Penny and Whippy. Thief as well, though, exchanging that back into an even fight, down to a 3v3. Able to take down one more member of 100 Thieves. Steal with the missed shot on the operator, but does give it away. And now V1 are going to call for pause just for a moment to watch their back flank and make sure that issues that have affected them in the previous few rounds do not transpire yet again.
Yeah, measure twice, cut once, my friend. Seems to be the way that version 1 wants to go with this. They still have quite a bit of utility in their pocket to be able to get this done as well. Vanity's not going to have the ice wall, so not nearly as strong on the LOS when it comes to that and trying to possibly get a plant down here, but we'll have to see how they'll be able to procure that. It's the Owl Drone out now for Ephes. He's trying to find any bit of information that he possibly can, but he won't spot out Steel inside of Snowman. Doesn't even prioritize the area. The recon bolts out, be able to at least reveal him for a second. And what a move from Thief. He takes down Steel in the back of sight. Now it's down to a 2 versus 2. These two teams just have a knack for being able to reach equal man count, and somehow V1 lose it yet again. Now it's down to Effie to try and clutch up, but Asuna, he has been so strong today in the frag department, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. He'll put V1 in a body bag, and 100 Thieves will make sure to give over the ult point.
Soon going to be a little bit closer to that. It's definitely going to be giving him the Empress, considering the way he's been playing. 100 Thieves is a little happy now that they've been able to finally secure that 12th point. Really had to trade their way to victory, it seems, but they're almost there. Just that one final round needs to be picked up. Here's the issue, though. V1, the same thing to trigger overtime, so we have to make sure that they do not trade this round out yet again, like the past 3 to 4 have been going now.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, that starts out with, you know, this opening frag like you were talking about. Time and time again, when we get to this point, 100 Thieves are trying to play a little bit more controlled. Yes, they're still forward, especially with Asuna like we saw previously, but that's where they've been able to get caught off guard, particularly with what we saw happen on the top of 410, where we saw Asuna end up getting taken down with that smoke play. It was just kind of risky overall, but just gets taken out simply because of the circumstances. And well, speaking of circumstances, Penny's going to go for a dash once again to 2, but this time 100 Thieves, and more specifically Steel, ready for with the op as he delivers a shot heard around round 24.
Yeah, Steel running into that very quickly after already having seen that move get played out a couple of times earlier in the half. Aside from that, that's going to cause major delays for V1. Now they're down a player. They're up against map point, excuse me. And unfortunately, with that player down, they don't really have the greatest capability to try to do anything hyper-aggressive here. They're still very focused on keeping an eye on the flanks and making sure that their backside does not get compromised, which has led to a lost round multiple times to them inside of this half. At the same time, need to try and find a way forward. There's going to be some intel going on to Asuna back at mid-gen, but not going to be able to act on it. Everybody else too far away from the peak point, so Asuna will be given plenty of time to back away and reach safe harbor until that ping ends, which is well in the past at this point. V1, though, have completed the shift over towards the A site, getting ready to move in now. 100 Thieves doesn't have an exact read on this yet, but they certainly have an inkling as they moved at least one player, their Sova, over towards the main A entryway. They've got their Omen, Ethan, sitting just outside of screens for when they push it.
Fantastic stuff here for version 1. They'll be able to set up Whippy for success as well for the post plant. He'll be able to at least get his poison orb down and set up for those snake bites. And he also getting the wall down low to be able to cut off the back of Ness. So big things here for version 1, but they have to be able to swing through on this and successfully win this round. And this could be quite difficult. They've already lost Penny, their main entry. Whippy has been so amazing throughout this series so far. We're looking for him for big plays and possibly Thief to make a large impact here. Whippy now starting things out with the snake bite. Thief with one, can he get another? No, he can't. Hiko pushing forward. The defensive Killjoy finally locks one up. That's going to be the player that we just saw go down. Whippy will get one, but he can't get the second. It's all left up to Effes. He doesn't have any utility to try and stop it either, but he gets both kills. Can he get the last one as well? He can, and version 1 sticks inside of it for the Red Bull clutch.
Effes with some beautiful stuff coming out right there. That was what we needed to see from them, and now they've been able to trigger OT, so we go right back into the action. No solidifying round just as of yet. As there's a massive play coming in from Effie's, and we'll see it one more time here for the Red Bull clutch. Look at this, just the great spray. You can see whoever wasn't the one defusing there, I believe it was Hiko, trying to stop it, but just cannot get the spray against him quickly enough. And then the last player, who Effie's had been fighting before that, has no choice at that point, has to try and get onto the spike, and unfortunately has to cross into the open past Effie's once again, which gives him the finalizing kill. We go to OT to settle this one, folks.
Well, here's the good news about overtime for everyone that is not a routine viewer of Valorant, or just really doesn't play the game and enjoys watching it instead. Everyone gets 5,000 credits, folks, so that means people like Penny aren't necessarily going to have too much for stuff like armor. And that's exactly where we're going to see him with any armor here, just 100 HP, because, well, Jet can just simply reset herself, so doesn't have to worry too much about that. Would much rather have that operator instead. We'll see how that works out, as 100 Thieves is already bearing down on the B side. They shoot under Tube, find 2 big kills. Thief will get a refrag onto Hiko, but now the trades ensue once again, and we're at equal man count.
Effie's with a find. We'll be able to take down Ethan here as the defense rallies together to try to shut down this round. Vanity with the near solidifying kill, but Asuna does trade it out to bring it into a 1v2 situation. Asuna's got a choice to make here now. Does he go directly back into the site where he's already been picking up frags, or does he try to play the unpredictable move, go for the rotate at mid, and then make the choice there? That's the decision he'll make. Quick cross into mid. Looks like he's definitely leaning towards A, but obviously trying to stick around here for a couple of seconds to see if anyone was going to go for the peek on him. And they were, actually. You can see that on our mini-map. 2 players from V1 are rotating in that direction. They show up just a tad too late, and they are going to let Asuna walk into the site. Might be able to hear some of the noise soon as he gets close to the site, but I think they're still just a tad too far away to be able to isolate that. The spike going down will be a heavy ringer giveaway, however. The immediate pop of the Empress needs to be done for Asuna now, because he knows he's going to be potentially going up against both players at once, and he's right to assume that, but it doesn't even matter. Shuts both of them out for the quad on the round, and the first round of OT.
Okay, now that right there is a Red Bull clutch, because that was some high-flying activity. Look at the movement here, folks. Look at this. Hops off of Nest, takes out one, hops back and gets on rope, then takes out Vanity on a completely different angle. That is some professional play in Valorant. What a move from Asuna.
What a read. Knew everything that was going to happen in that round as well. Like we said, he knew there was going to be additional pressure coming in from mid. Keeps a constant watch over that. Even then, he's still ahead of those players as well, so didn't even really need to do that. Gets himself onto the site very quickly. Fortunately, V1 don't think he's going for the full commitment there, so they never go for the full split of their players, which was probably smart considering they were up against Asuna, but it mattered not, as he still has that Empress ready to go. It's the increased fighting capability of that is able to shut down both of those players in an incredibly smooth way. So, 100 Thieves once again sitting on map point here to try to take a 1-0 lead in the series. Just need to close out one final defensive round in order to make that happen. Let's see if they can do it, though. A lot of pressure coming in from the Generators. Only going to go 1 for 1. You see Hiko trying to get out of there, but is ultimately just going to get caught out by Effie's. Asuna still alive, though, and still fragging, as he's now going to be able to take down Vanity. Missed the transition from Thief to the upper rafters, and apparently Steel never got the call. So Thief gets himself 2 more for triple on the round. Nitro, now the last one standing in a 1v3.
These offenses continue to win out here on Icebox and lock somebody into a clutch moment. It's on to Nitro now to try and clutch things up, but he won't be able to get it done. Thief with a 4K inside of that one, and I'm in full agreement with you at this point, Blue. It really is down to how quickly can you hit these sites? Can you establish control in the back line and try and shut down these rotations? Because every time they've been able to get it done, there is just no chance for the defense to try and fight back.
More importantly, who can win 2 rounds in a row here? That's the really important factor. Because look at the bottom of your screen right now, folks. We've been going back and forth for like 8 or 9 rounds now. So first one to break that streak is, I think, in fact, going to win the map. So.
Yeah, actually, indeed. Yeah, it's going to be 2 rounds. Whoever gets those first in a row will win here inside of overtime, but somebody's got to get it done. That's the big thing right now, and honestly, I don't know if I want Icebox to stop. These two continue to just butt heads time and time again. And, well, seems like now 100 Thieves with the play towards B. Shrouded step towards yellow, so Whippy's not going to get a read on that. He'll at least get the audio cue of him shifting across, at least teleport-wise, but obviously could have done that at his feet as well. So he's going to back up and give up what's happening here on site. Try and simply play for the intel as well as a possible bang through the box. Can he get it done? Only a little bit of damage. The snake bite's not in fast enough either, and the plant's down for 100 Thieves.
So post plant again. A Not the best angles for 100 Thieves to be able to work with here, but certainly enough to play for, and just no site control in the actual plant position there, because they had to use the toxic screen in order to get their plant on the ground, so never took full control. Now we're going to start to see the issues of that come fold. Effie's with the great usage of the chalk darts coming out here is going to be able to get 2 for himself. Trades do come in from 100 Thieves, and we go to a 3v2, but V1 still has too much control. They're going to be able to take it instead, and now take the edge once more, putting them just on the cusp of map point.
Well, defense finally locking things up here. 100 Thieves, the hell of an opportunity to try and secure that round. But it was the shock darts of Effie's. Again, hasn't been the greatest game for him. He's been able to find some big impact, especially on this latter half of the match. But right there, probably the biggest influence we've seen from him throughout this so far. Some huge shock darts coming in on that B site when they were desperately needed to try and help V1 regain control.
So finally breaking the streak. Now they really need to solidify it with a 3rd round in a row. Things looking good for V1, but if 100 Thieves is able to trade it out once more, we're going to be going right back into that same tie situation yet again, and we will go onward until one of these teams is able to win by a positive 2-round coefficient, or just a 2-round advantage. Are going to be another technical timeout here real quick, folks, so excuse the slight delay. We'll get started immediately as soon as we have a fast fix for that. But once again, no issues of economy to be worried about since we are well into OT at this point. Those teams will have their money at the beginning of every round, so they'll be sticking nice and easy with the 5K. And away from that, it's all about the strategy at this point and who can come out on top more consistently.
Yes, indeed, my friend. That's what the name of the game is at this point. We're at round 28 here, folks, and some signs of it stopping soon, but you never really know when it comes down to it. That's the beauty of esports. We got to play out the game and see exactly what happens. But we are going to have some change-ups coming here for version 1 as well. Penny been mostly on the operator for all of Icebox, but in this OT round in particular, he's going to be manning the Phantom instead. So we could see some more aggressive play here from them, but we'll have to see how that's going to go down. Obviously, this is the round that's going to seal the deal, at least for Icebox, and push us to our second map instead of this best of 3.
We'll be figuring out if indeed V1 can close this down in just a moment. Seeing some great play come out of their players. Effie specifically has really been impressing just in these past couple of rounds with the massive impact. You know, the clutch kind of speaks for itself, but even inside of a few of the OT rounds, we've been seeing some great pickups from him to keep the team competitive. And that's not even accounting for what the usual mainstays in the fragging department have been picking up here as well. Thief, most notably coming into this one, and Penny as well, finding that great impact. It's fairly evenly spread right now from what I've been accounting for on version 1. So there's no one player they can account for as the hero, but it's good to see that full roster all having their moments inside of what is definitely going to end up being a pretty lengthy map here by the time it's over.
Oh yes, absolutely. You can say the same thing for 100 Thieves as well. We've been seeing some really big impact from Ethan and obviously Asuna, who you and I have been saying his name throughout all of Icebox, and I'm assuming that's not going to change inside of this best of 3. So for you 100 Thieves fans, you guys better buckle up, because I'm assuming this guy is not slowing down.
That's not it either. I mean, Steel's been having a very good run so far in this game. A couple of, missed up rounds here and there, but for the most part, he has been spot on, specifically from the defensive side, about reading into the early aggression coming out from his opponents, and in a lot of situations, getting the opening pick. Even on the attack, too, his pushes up towards A Heaven, back over on the attacker's side, have been getting him quite a few openers there. There's 2 to 3 occasions specifically that I think we caught on camera. It might have been another one aside from that.
Yeah, as well, and that is not even to mention what he's been able to do with the op as well. That's honestly, for Steel and 100 Thieves, I really do feel like Steel is that jack of all trades, where he can just do it. If you need him to do it, he's going to be the guy to get it done. So, that's I like what you're saying about 100 Thieves. It really is across this entire field right now as to how these teams are both finding success. It's just going to be that last little inch for one of these squads that pushes them over the edge.
It'll be that one big play on the very important round here, which V1 are on that round. We just need to see that play come out that solidifies things and pushes them over the edge. These teams have been so close to each other, even just inside of this map. And keep in mind, folks, this is only map number 1 of the series. We've got Haven followed up by Bind after this one to decide who's going to be truly moving forward further into this bracket, and who unfortunately will have to fight things out for survival in the lower bracket to try and make it into our top 4 to qualify for the next event.
Yeah, still possibly 2 maps to go, John, and we've already had so much action here on Icebox. Let's just say it's going to be a pretty good night when it comes down to it. So, I mean, so far throughout this Icebox, it's mostly been offensive sided. That's been kind of the name of the game for both you and me. But now it seems that the defenses are starting to come more to light. A lot of the defensive play finally starting to shine through, especially when it comes to utility usage, like we saw in that previous round with Sova. And it feels like a lot of that utility has really been assisting them in these retakes. The frag department, obviously, always assisting when it comes down to that. You want to be able to try and procure as many of those frags on the inbound as possible, just making things a little bit easier for yourself. But it's really been that utility that's been the difference maker for both of these teams.
I think defenders are probably getting a little bit more comfortable now, considering that they've had the full length of the match to really figure out how their opponents generally play their attacking sides. They're probably feeling they can get a bit more aggressive without taking as much of a risk as they might have been at the beginning of the game, when that would have obviously been a bit more unpredictable, even with the proper prep being done by these teams, I assume. So probably seeing a lot more aggressive play on the defense for that reason, among many, many others. These guys definitely getting a better feel for how their opponents play in general, even just beyond a strategical sense too. So once more, folks, just as you can see there on the screen, just waiting for a resolution to this technical timeout, which that just went away. So I think we're pretty close. Hey, there's the timer. So let's get back into it and find out indeed if V1 can close down this first map, or if we've still got a bit of fighting to do with a response to come in from 100 Thieves.
Well, version 1, 84% win rate here on Icebox and a 64% win rate on their offense. So this is the best opportunity they're going to have. They light up Asuna so very well, but a leer out and actually a blind instead. It's the paranoia from the Omen of Ethan to take them down for the initial frag, and Thief off the board already. 100 Thieves have delivered the first blow.
Asuna looking for more as well, and he's going to get it. A quick peek to finish off Vanity. Will dispatch of the drone as well. There is going to be at least one player from V1 trying to work their way out onto B, but as you guys can see, that'll quickly get handled by Nitro. Whippy not going to be able to get caught there. Whippy will be caught there. To a quick end for him. Just Penny and Effie's here now, so looking like this match is not done as of yet, unless we can see an incredible effort from these two players to bring on a 2v5. Unfortunately, though, with those odds set against them, they're just inching their way into the site, hoping to get an entry opportunity, but so far, it hasn't been presented to them. Using Penny, now just leaves it all onto Effie's in a 1v5. The only damage being done, about that half of HP they traded onto Asuna when he made his aggressive push earlier. The shock dart? Nope, unfortunately, not going to kill Ethan, and ultimately, while he will trade him out in the second shock dart, it's after he gets pushed out by Asuna, and the round is won by 100 Thieves.
Very unlucky there. He almost stopped the flawless, but he died right after that arrow ended up going off. So 100 Thieves technically still going to get the flawless either way, but now we're back to where we started, John. It's 100 Thieves tactical timeout as they'll try and figure things out for their offense, but 14-14 right now in between these two. And, you know, funny enough, looking across the board for both of these teams, this is one of these maps where neither of them touch it, honestly, that often in comparison to the rest of the field. You know, across the last handful of months, 100 Thieves having 20 plays on Icebox and version 1 having 19. In comparison to their other maps, this isn't really like the hallmark of what they're looking into. Maybe for version 1, what we were talking about earlier, and their 84% win rate, but it looks like 100 Thieves might have an opportunity to change that number just a little bit.
Going to be changing the number of rounds played for sure with the way that this game is going. And like we said, it's not looking like this is going to be ending anytime soon, with the win condition being that you need to have the 2 rounds over your opponent. That's been very tough for either of these teams to try and grasp. I mean, you can see it here at the start. 100 Thieves had themselves built up to a pretty healthy lead, but that got fought back as we got towards halftime by V1. And ever since then, it has literally been a seesaw, except for those 2 rounds won by V1. And that was the closest we got to either team winning this game.
Okay, well, our OT set starts yet again here, guys. Round 29. We'll make sure to keep you guys updated as to how long this is going to go. Again, on the V1 side, going to be traditional defense here for them, going to be using that Viper wall on the long of B yet again here. Trying to keep 100 Thieves at the gates. Not going to be playing the far side of yellow this time around, but Ethan will just go for the fake instead. Doesn't want to try and swing too far here and give up in one of those opening kills. As for V1, though, they've shifted things across. They recognize that B is more than likely the play. You can see that right now. They've pushed Siege back into Snowman. Penny working his way up, trying to hold a nice angle here for the cross, but it's not going to get done. Asuna with the leer. He'll peek out from yellow, take down Penny. That's an opt down, as well as a possible plant here as well.
This one way that keeps getting set up by Whippy is kind of interesting because it does allow 100 Thieves to get themselves across. From the times I've caught so far, has been 2 or 3 occasions where Whippy actually hasn't been able to catch opponents going past that cloud that's set up for him, and allows 100 Thieves to get themselves behind yellow, and eventually, in this situation, allows Asuna to swing out there. So the poison cloud is a little bit interesting that's coming out there from Whippy. It's definitely having mixed results, but now we're going to see if the positioning they have on site is enough for them to retake here, as both Whippy and Thief will get back into the action. Hiko and Nitro, they'll trade that right back out, and everything falls to Thief in a 1v2. He can't maintain against Nitro, and 100 Thieves push ahead yet again.
Okay, well, 100 Thieves simply forcing it onto version 1's A site. No true opportunity there for V1 to try and fight back, or excuse me, on their B site. No real opportunity there for V1 to try and fight back. The opening there was really, really solid for them. I like the attempted retake onto yellow, but they simply couldn't win out the gunfights. Some early picks for 100 Thieves just made it way too difficult, and especially the pick onto Penny just made it to where they knew no one was going to be holding a harsh cross with that op. So they just got to play that out a little bit more aggressive than prior. Fantastic stuff from 100 Thieves on that, but now they have to win this defensive round, and this is looking more like the same, but instead of stacking things more towards kitchen and mid, this is looking like a tube play as well as a lower hold, and Ethan on said tube play, and end up getting taken down early here from Whippy.
Good opener from Whippy, takes out Ethan as well. Has been one of the more front and forward players here from 100 Thieves, and on top of that, one of the more clutch ones as well. So big asset to this 100 Thieves roster getting removed quite early from the round. Whippy in position to possibly catch another one, and he's going to do it. It's probably the strongest one on 100 Thieves as well. Asuna goes down. Whippy feeling confident about himself here. He's got to be a little careful. Steel is close by, although he's taking quite a bit of damage from the decay. Obviously, we'll get that back as we're seeing now, but wanted to try and play inside of it in hopes that he might be able to sneak off 1 or 2. Won't be the case. In fact, V1 are continuing the rampage now. They've moved on to the A site, have taken down Nitro in clean fashion. Hiko responds with at least the shock dart kill against Vanity, but that's the only one that's gone down for V1. It's a 2v4 here. Got a 2v3 now, as Steel's been able to find another re-entry kill the top of the ramp leading to upper rafters. Steel's going to rotate over towards screens. Hiko will take up the mantle at rafters instead, with Penny having a complete overwatch on that. Steel, same fate will more than likely befall him, as you're going to have Thief keeping an eye on the cutoff. These players from V1 are split up. That's not really going to matter. They're consistently picking up their kills, as we've seen right there. Thief and Penny finishing things off with the 2 final kills yet again. Once more, times 15-all.
This is just so very difficult for these defenses to try and figure this out. A lot of these offenses not trying to mess around with mid anymore, John, and that's the big thing. We saw 100 Thieves do that a lot on their offensive side, trying to play around with tube, trying to find plays underneath tube by smoking off mid and things like that, but no one's truthfully going for that kind of play anymore. They're dedicating through A main or B main and simply trying to force back the opposition, and it's working out well for both of these teams, but that's the problem as well. It's also working out well for both of these teams. Both of these defenses really can't get things done as of right now. They can't get the lead off picks. They haven't been able to shut them at the gates like they once were.
See some quick replays here once again as we'll go another timeout. Whippy still being that very front and forward player here for V1. Always off on his lonesome too is the thing. He's been the one that's been standing on flank watch over towards B main, or in that situation, watching out for any of the aggression in mid. And oftentimes he's been finding those kills. Probably a good reason as to why we haven't seen as much flank work coming in from 100 Thieves as of the last 5 to 10 rounds now, because Whippy has been such a problem in that department. Anytime they push in, there's a pretty good chance he's going to be able to shut them down.
Yeah, having a brick wall as your flank defense is something that is worth its weight in gold when it comes down to it, because usually it's the flank that messes everything up when it comes to FPSs, and version 1 luckily able to avoid that quite often here. All except for that one round where we saw Steel on a pretty solid flank, but not able to do too much with that, as Hiko just took them all himself anyways. Another technical timeout here, folks, so just bear with us for a moment as we get that ironed out, because, well, we still have a possibility to go quite a few more rounds between these two teams.
Yeah, you might want to get a drink or something. Now's the time for it.
It's the bathroom break, folks.
These guys are still seesawing. We did have 100 Thieves break the 2-round, deficit there once again, as they were able to win 2 for themselves. So now we've gone from trading 1 round each to trading 2 rounds each. We'll see if that trend continues and V1 are able to win another one here before 100 Thieves takes control yet again.
Well, for 100 Thieves, they're setting up on the B side from the blocks initially here. Could possibly rotate this back towards A, but usually we see Still here. They end up with a commit, as he'll be holding the flank off of that drone and making sure no one pushes in through A main. As of right now, though, for VU1, they're still spread across the map. No real read as to the situation just yet, and you can't exactly blame them. Lots of Viper smoke walls up across the map, and that's going to be difficult for them to try and deal with. Going to proc 100 Thieves 1 yet again as they start to push up. Still have to worry about 2 version 1 members here, and one that they haven't had to worry about in a minute in this current position. It's going to be Thief on the far side of yellow with Whippy holding the cross. Isn't truly happening just yet. Slow beginning for both of them.
Yeah, and Whippy not able to make the shots connect immediately this time. There's also a bit more aggression, so they're not going to set up that same one way that Whippy's been trying to do for himself up until this point. It goes a bit deeper on top of that mid-bunker. It's next to a lot of the 100 Thieves players right now here. In fact, they're going to set up the flank watch here as they throw up their screen once again. Opponents will do the same exact thing, however. So once more, time continues to tick down. We're at 40 seconds left now, and 100 Thieves have barely moved from their spawn. Keep in mind, they still have Steel way over on the A side as well, potentially lurking for some action there if he's going to be able to waltz right in. And the interesting part about this, with any noise he makes, you can see it's drawn the attention of at least 2 of the players from V1. Sage, as well as one other. But yeah, Steel not going to be ready for the fight when it does come his way. Vanity takes him out, but we still have the large majority of 100 Thieves committing to this site here. Is V1 ready for this? Is Vanity ready for the rest of the team to come his way? That's now the big question. Gets the first kill. Asuna's up next, and he's going to be able to take him down. Hiko with a double trade, though, taking down both Vanity and Effie's, just barely getting this spike down onto the ground. He immediately has to fight and is not ready for the challenge, so V1 going to bring it down all the way just to a duel versus Nitro. Nitro gets onto the site. There's some smoke to play into. Whippy will push forward, tap into it, confirms Nitro's on the inside. He's a lot of time right now, but he's out of toxin, so now he's got to get aggressive. Gets the first kill, but ultimately traded out by Penny. And that's V1 pushing themselves forward yet again up on the map point.
And this is where it gets so very dangerous. V1 get their defense first, as they'll be shifting over to offense against 100 Thieves. Such a slow offense there for 100T. And the biggest issue there being, yeah, they're able to actually get control of A and get the spike down, but at what cost? That's the biggest thing there. They spend a lot of time over towards B, and that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, as it does keep a lot of V1 members over there as they continue to finagle back and forth with all of their utility. But, you know, when it comes to actually shifting over to A, they just simply did not have the man advantage needed. Steel is in on the entry, but a great read from Vanity that almost gets him a triple kill, and that's exactly what V1 needed in that department. You know, Vanity, he's been so good with utility and being able to help out V1 throughout this, just not really showing up too big inside of the frag department, but he was able to get it done on that round.
Penny moving forward very much on his own. Gonna be able to use the Cloud Burst to try and push over towards yellow here too, but doesn't feel the confidence to fully commit to the outside. And apparently Vanity not gonna feel the confidence up on heaven there to try to win out the initial fight. So 100 Thieves shut down their first bit of aggression against them, specifically on the A side of the map. We still have the spike and one other player grouped with it, pointing towards this direction, as well as rotates from B, slowly working that way. But as usual, things have been a little bit more up in the air in this matchup with regards to commitment on these sites, so could still see an audible get called by the V1 roster and move somewhere else. It'll be quite hard to do now with the teams being committed, so more than likely going to stick here, but Asuna very much ready for the challenge, and so is the rest of the 100 Thieves roster. Call for the rotate. Steel as well as Nitro over on the other side towards B, and that should be happening right now because in comes the execute.
It's quite harsh, but a fantastic recon bolt. Gets so much information for the defense of 100 Thieves, but the trade still ensue. It's a 2v3 now for V1. Hiko with some shock bolts and a nice lineup can try and stop this spike from going down. They'll at least get the spike picked back up, but now Nitro takes down the Thief. These offenses just not coming easily for both of these squads right now. Penny trying to make a big play now. Gonna put the Cloud Burst down, tries to find the initial one. He can't get the second. Steel with the shift up the rope. Can't be heard, and Penny not prepared to see somebody down the barrel.
The wild ride continues, folks. Asuna still has... Oh, you're noticing it now, too. Asuna still has his chance for the 40 bomb coming up on this round, most likely, with the way that he's been fragging out here. Not to mention 341 ACS there, too. He's been absolutely popping off, and like we said, 1 kill away from a 40 bomb. the win condition just got reset again, so nobody has the edge going into this one. We are still tied at 16-16.
It's one of the highest ACSs I've seen in a game like this. I think the highest one I've seen is when Scream played Splits up against, I want to say it was, not Immortals, but either way, ended up with an ACS of like 370 inside of the game. He had like 42, 43 kills as well. Just truly impressive stuff. And speaking of impressive stuff, Thief didn't have to use this position the last time. They had no idea he was here, so he'll use it this time around, and he'll take down Ethan because of it. Fantastic stuff for version 1 as they'll get the leadoff pick on their defense to mirror 100 Thieves.
Snakebite against Yellow, not going to be enough to force the defenders out of position here. And he as well catching off some of that aggression in mid. Vanity may be able to capitalize on it from the pipe, but unfortunately he's missed the memo. Steel is long too gone to be able to do anything about that. Smoke's working their way out, including the toxic screen, which is going to allow for Nitro to push himself forward. You do see the counter coming out from Whippy on the other end as they deploy their own poison cloud, but now Thief going to push through the screen with success as well. He's able to take down Asuna. Nitro with another trade. Whippy holding on, though, keeping the defense in control. As now we go down to a 4v2. Steel and Hiko, the last two players left, holding on to control by Yellow. Will that single position be enough for Steel? It's enough for him to get aggressive at least. He swings out and finds Effie's. One more for him before finally going down to Vanity. Now it's just the 1v2 for Hiko. He gets the first one. And he's still going to be out in the open as well. No smoke to support him either here. Hiko just has to play this out on time, but he oh no, tries to get the kill, but doesn't end up happening. Vanity steals it away instead, and V1 once again will go up to match point.
Oh, and that was an absolute nail-biter if you're Vanity there, up against one of the clutchest players all time when it comes to FPS is Hiko, but not him, he can try and get it done. Amazing effort, though, put in from 100 Thieves to get that spike down, but what a retake from version 1. You can see how committed they are to retaking Yellow. Penny ends up getting taken down, makes that 1 versus 1 for Vanity, and makes the right decision, not trying to stick around the spike. That's the biggest thing there. You have to try and get the challenge one way or another because you know Hiko is going to come for you every time you try and get that spike diffused. We're back at it again here yet again, folks, as V1 gets their defense, and they're looking to close things out here on offense, but I wouldn't hold your breath.
Hiko, unfortunately, just peeking that angle one too many times, finally gives himself away to Vanity. The killing blow there, which solidifies things for V1 yet again. They're on map point here. We'll see if they can solidify it. Like Stokes said, we've been on this ride for a while, though, so don't necessarily expect anything to change anytime soon. Although things are slowly, very slowly, starting to look better and better for V1. So now they've broken the 2-round win streak, brought it down to a single one, and once again have been able to take back that control and put themselves on map point. Here's the first bit of entry from Whippy specifically. Tries to get the snake bite out, but it's going to be Thief instead. That gets the kill elsewhere as he's going to be able to take down Steel.
That's a big pick. Kitchen control could mean a possible B play here, but they'll back out of Tube instead as, well, Ethan shifting inside of Kitchen now. He'll be able to identify that no one's in there with that big pick onto Penny mid, who once again hops onto Tube. Are these ready for that play and take him down? We're equalized yet again. V1 looking for an A execute instead now as they've pulled a couple of 100 Thieves members over towards B. Be looking to Ethan to see if he can get this flank off early. He's still trying to push the envelope mid.
Continuing to hold it out. Asuna with a find, though. Grabs Vanity, going to be able to dispatch of him before he can contribute to the inside of the site effort. The rest of the team does flood their way in. They get the control. They've not been able to force Asuna out, but he's taking a lot of damage from the Sova utility. Shock darts working their way in. Hiko assisting, though. Takes out Eppies before he comes across. Big swing from Asuna to find the kill, but an even bigger transfer from Whippy as he takes them both out of the fight. Looking for more here. 2 players still to go. Looks the wrong way, though, and gives himself up to Nitro, and that's going to be 100 Thieves tying us up again. Now at 17 rounds.
It almost seems like, you know, they get to a point where it seems like the round's going to go their way. Version 1 get control of the site. They start getting some solid trades, but then 100 Thieves just simply on the re-entry to site start taking out so many people. I mean, Asuna with solid positioning across the board, just working in tandem with Hiko on rafters. V1 just not really having a chance to try and take A like they wanted.
Hey, fun fact, we're guaranteed to play full 3 halves of Valorant now. Because we got to play at least 2 more rounds. That was just round 10 right there, so.
Round 35 right now, John. Round 35 right now between these two. Truly impressive stuff. And speaking of impressive, we're looking to Penny to try and beat all of that. And a bag of chips for Thief, but it's actually Thief instead for version 1 that takes him down. Penny will get traded out as Asuna takes 2. He'll take Thief with him just to make sure A is in their back pocket. And this is more than likely a spike going down. Version 1 have to try and clear out the site. Asuna, absolutely electric right now, across the ropes and everything else. Can he get the flick? Whippy shuts him down, but it's the rest of 100 Thieves to secure that one so very quickly on the A side as they splatter V1 across the entirety of the place.
100 Thieves have had enough of this slow, careful play, trying to look for that ultimate pick that they can use to get into the site. Let's just go for it, guys. And it works out for them very, very well on the inside of that round. But now they're back on the defensive half one final time here, I believe, as well, to try and slow things down and pick up one round that would be needed to push them over the edge and get them this map, which I'll be honest, I did not expect them to win this at all. Looking at the way the previous matchups had gone for both of these teams on Icebox, I thought this was going to be a V1 map handily. So 100 Thieves hanging on not only for this long in OT, but to potentially come out as the winner as well. That's definitely going to shake up my predictions for the rest of this series. But let's focus on the action as once again, we've got some aggressive play coming out from V1 here.
Calculated though, as the Owl Drone will be out trying to find some sort of intel. Asuna pre-firing early here. He'll use a Leer just to try and create some separation between the two squads, but Thief in version 1 moving quite forward now. Asuna finds a nice frag with the one-way. Whippy with the refrag, though. We're back down to equal man count as well. No slowing down now, and of course, it's Asuna to jump into the pit and start the war in between these two yet again. Hiko's simply sitting in spawn, knows someone's going to try and rotate through kitchen, and he's definitely not wrong. It's Asuna being forceful yet again, though, and he's going to get a kill because of it. Whippy not prepared for anyone to rotate that early, and now it's down to a 4v2 post plan for version 1.
Had a real play building up there for V1 if Whippy was able to escape and get back out onto the B site. He's the one who catches that there is literally no one holding that site, but now there's going to be a very glaring issue here for V1 in their post play. They've only got one player on the site. The one who was supposed to flank and surprise has already been caught. Everything's down to Vanity, and he doesn't stand a chance. Out into the open, there's 3 players already aimed onto him. Asuna finally gets the definitive defuse, and 100 Thieves with a final score of 19-17 close things out. We'll be back in a second, folks, to